The crystalline chamber of the Galactic Tribunal hummed with an energy that bent space itself. Representatives from 47 civilizations sat in judgment, their forms ranging from the ethereal Vorthak energy beings to the hulking, stone-like Krillian hegemony. At the center of this cosmic courtroom stood a single human, Ambassador Sarah Chen, her simple black diplomatic attire a stark contrast to the ornate robes and biomechanical augmentations surrounding her. High Arbiter Zexthul, a being whose species had mastered interstellar law when Earth's sun was still forming, raised his 6 arms in ceremonial proclamation. His voice echoed through quantum translators reaching every corner of known space. The tribunal recognizes the charges brought against the species designated human of the 3rd planet in the Sol system, Zexthul announced, his compound eyes gleaming with ancient authority. Violations of the Galactic Peace Accords, unlawful expansion beyond designated boundaries, and the most grievous charge, the corruption of lesser species with their concept of individual rights. A ripple of agreement passed through the assembled representatives. The collective of minds, a hive species that had absorbed thousands of worlds, pulsed with satisfaction. The hereditary dominion, where genetic castes had maintained order for millennia, clicked their approval with chitinous appendages. Ambassador Chen stood unmoved, her hands clasped behind her back. She had volunteered for this mission, knowing it was likely a death sentence. Earth's small fleet couldn't stand against the combined might of the Galactic Coalition, but surrender had never been in humanity's vocabulary. The evidence is overwhelming, continued the High Arbiter. Wherever humans have established colonies, they have introduced dangerous concepts. Individual choice, personal freedoms, the right to question authority. The last words dripped with disgust. On Kepler 442b, an entire population of servitor species abandoned their designated roles after exposure to human philosophy. The natural order, maintained for 10,000 years, collapsed within a generation. The Zephyrian delegate, a creature of living gas contained within an ornate vessel, spoke next. Their contamination spreads like a virus. On our mining world of Proxima Station, worker drones began asking for fair wages and time off, preposterous concepts that threaten the very foundation of galactic civilization. Chen finally stepped forward, her voice carrying clearly despite the vastness of the chamber. With respect to the tribunal, we contest these characterizations. What you call contamination, we call enlightenment. What you see as chaos, we recognize as freedom. A cacophony of alien protests erupted. The tribunal's automated systems activated noise dampeners, but the outrage was palpable. High Arbiter Zexthul's voice cut through the din. Human, your species is barely 2 centuries into space travel. Civilizations represented here have maintained galactic stability for millennia. Your naive concepts may seem appealing to primitive minds, but they invariably lead to war, suffering, and collapse. Do they? Chen asked, her tone calm but carrying an edge that made several delegates shift uncomfortably. Or do they lead to growth, innovation, and progress? She activated a holographic display, showing comparative data that made the chamber fall silent. Since human contact, technological advancement in the affected systems has increased by 340%. Medical breakthroughs that your species declared impossible have been achieved through collaborative research, something your rigid hierarchies never allowed. Art, literature, and scientific discovery have flourished. The Krillian representative's voice rumbled like grinding stone. Progress built on the bones of order. Without structure, without designated roles, civilization crumbles. Does it? Chen's eyes swept the chamber. Or does it evolve? She gestured and new data appeared, records the tribunal thought they had suppressed. On 17 worlds where human philosophy has taken root, interspecies conflicts have decreased by 80%. Mental health indices show dramatic improvement. Even birth rates have stabilized as individuals choose their own paths rather than following predetermined roles. High Arbiter Zexthul's compound eyes narrowed. Clever manipulation of statistics cannot disguise the chaos your species brings. The tribunal has reached its decision. Earth and all human colonies will surrender immediately. Your species will be relocated to a single world under the supervision of the collective of minds. Human philosophy will be corrected. Chen smiled, an expression that sent chills through representatives who had learned to recognize the dangerous optimism it represented. I'm afraid that's not possible. The chamber erupted in confusion. The Zephyrian delegate's containment vessel flickered with agitation. You dare refuse the tribunal's judgment? Your pathetic fleet cannot stand against the combined might of 47 civilizations. You're absolutely right, Chen agreed. We can't. She paused, letting the words sink in before delivering the blow that would reshape galactic civilization. But we don't need to. You see, while you've been debating, something remarkable has been happening. On every world where humans have shared our dangerous ideas, the people have been making choices, and they've chosen freedom. The holographic display showed real-time feeds from across the galaxy. On the mining world of Proxima Station, Zephyrian workers were removing their control collars. On Kepler 442b, former servitors were establishing their own government. On dozens of worlds, beings were standing up, speaking out, and choosing their own destinies. Revolution? Zexthul hissed. Evolution, Chen corrected. The very species you sent to condemn us are discovering what we've known all along. That every sentient being has the right to determine their own fate. Your subjects are becoming citizens. The chamber descended into chaos as representatives frantically tried to contact their home worlds, only to discover communication blackouts, peaceful protests, and in some cases, complete governmental transitions. Chen's voice rose above the pandemonium. The age of authoritarian control is over. Not because we conquered you, but because your own people chose something better. That's the real power of human philosophy. It doesn't destroy civilizations. It liberates them. As the Galactic Tribunal crumbled around her, Ambassador Sarah Chen stood witness to the birth of a truly free galaxy. The verdict they had sought to impose had indeed shattered empires, not through force but through the simple revolutionary idea that every being deserved the right to choose their own path among the stars. The age of individual freedom had begun.